Welcome to Asst College of Arts and Commerce. This is Assist Edupedia. Myself, Assistant Professor Sunil Shah. Today, I would be covering up the topic called safety aspect under the Factories Act, which is there in FYBMS SEM 2 of the Module 2 under the Bombay University's the syllabus. Safety aspect under the Factories Act under Industrial Law. Today, I would be covering up the limited topics under that is called Section 11, which deals with the safety and the health aspects of the factory workers. Section 11 deals with the cleanliness aspect in every factory. As you are aware, every factory should be kept clean. So every factory should be kept clean and should be free from effluvia arising from any drain, privy or any other nuisance. So whatever the drainage is there in the factory, whatever the dust would be there which is accumulated from the whole day work, that should be swept clean by that particular brooms or with the any other level instruments which is approved by the government, and should be removed by daily by sweeping or by any other effective method, whether it be vacuum cleaner or any other method which is available, and it should be used with the disinfectant. The next section which deals with would be Section 12. The effective arrangement should be made in every factory for the treatment of waste and effluents due to the manufacturing process carried on therein as to render them incautious and for the dispersal. So in the factory there should be a particular place where there would be segregation of the wet waste and as well as for the dry waste, including the waste which is there from the glass or from the industrial gases should be kept properly, including should be dustbin for keeping the cans or any other raw materials which should be kept, like if it is a chemical factory, there would be gunny bags or the bags, the HDPE bags would be there, that should be treated properly before the disposal. So the proper arrangement should be kept for the effluents and the waste. The waste should be kept properly and the effluents which has been removed from the factory should be treated with the secondary treatment plant so that there should be effect on the environment. So the effluents, whether it is solid waste or the liquid waste or the gases which are coming out from the outlet of the factory, should be treated before giving into the atmosphere so that there won't be any problem related to the environment, or if the waste, liquid waste which has been given out from the factory should be treated properly before throwing out into the water, should not be affecting to the aquatic animals in the sea or the river. The next section deals with the ventilation and the temperature. As you are aware, whenever the factory work is going on, whether it is a bakery industries or any other industries like making of the chemicals or any of the industries which are there, there should be proper ventilation, and the ventilation should be in the proper method as described by the Factories Act. Every effective and suitable provision should be made in every factory for the securing and maintaining every workroom proper ventilation by circulation of the fresh air through by artificial mode or by the natural mode. It also involves providing adequate temperature at the workplace. For this, they should select a material of the walls accordingly. So if you see, the ventilation should be proper and the temperature of the room where the workers are working should be nearly about 30 degrees, so that the workers who are working in the organization should be feeling happy to work. Because of the temperature, there should not be more amount of humidity, and the ventilation, whatever the gases which have been produced in the factory, should be thrown out periodically. Section 14 deals with the dust and the fumes. Whatever the dust are accumulated throughout the day when the workers are working, and the fumes which have been generated from the furnace of the factory, the machineries which are in motion, the dust and the fumes are releases in the manufacturing process of the factory. They should take effective measure to prevent its inhalation. So the mark should be given to the workers, and accumulation at the workplace. If the dust has been accumulated, should be periodically clean. Otherwise, the new product or the fresh product which has been manufactured, and that also the dust would be accumulated, which would be hampering to the output of the organization. For this, they should use proper exhaust appliances at the workplaces. Section 15 deals with artificial humidification. If you are aware, in the factory there is always the temperature which is always increasing above the 30 degree. So to keep that particular factory at the cool temperature, there should be humidification. In any factory in which the humidity of the air is artificially increased, the water used for the purpose should be taken for the public supply. Either it should be taken from the water supply department or other source of drinking water and should be effectively purified before it is used. If the water which is being used for artificial humidification through some type of instruments which are available in the factory, and if they are using the tanker water, then there would be problem related to the hair growth of the workers or would be affecting to the skin of the workers. So normally the water supply department, whatever the water is supplied, should be used, accumulated and used for the artificial humidification. And maybe in some cases, if it is possible, drinking water should be used for artificial humidification. And if they are using any other source of water for humidification, for making the factory clean and little bit humid, should be used, any water should be used, but it should be treated before using it. Section 16 deals with overcrowding. Whenever there is a production high, whenever there is a demand of any of the product which has been manufactured by any of the factory, and whenever during the festival times, if the workers are being increased or the day shift is increased, if the workers strength is increased in day shift or in the night shift, and whenever there is a demand of the product which has been manufactured by the factory, and if the workers are overcrowded, no room in any factory should be overcrowded and to the extent which is injurious to the health of the workers employed therein. This is the law, section 16 which deals with. So the factory manager or the owner of the factory should keep that particular place should be available for exhaling and inhaling of the gases, that is oxygen, carbon dioxide. There should not be skin to skin touch between the workers, otherwise there would be infection also. If the chief inspector of the factories by order in writing may or may not post a notice specifying the maximum number of workers to be employed in the room. So if any of the organization, what is this particular section means, if any of the organization of any of the factory wants to increase the number of workers, he should apply to the chief inspector of the factories for at the same state where the factory is located, and if the factory inspector gives him the permission, then only he can raise the number of workers in that particular shift. Section 17 deals with lighting. Every factory should be adequate lighted so that there should not be harm to the workers. There should be proper lighting in all the places of the factory from the workers has to pass. The formation of the shadows to such an extent may cause eye strain or risks of the accident in any worker. So if you see any of the organization, whether it is closed or open, the outside premises of the organization are being illuminated with the light in the night also, and into the daytime also. All the factory place, the premises should be illuminated with the lights so that there should not be any shadow and there would be lesser number of accidents in the factory if it has been illuminated. Section 18 deals with drinking water. Every factory should be provided with their drinking water. This section states that every factory there should be proper arrangement for sufficient supply of wholesome drinking water and should be legibly marked as drinking water. Normal cases in the factory, when more than 250 workers are working, there should be cool drinking water in the summer season and should be marked as water safe for drinking. And there should be different water also which is used for hand washing. So there should be proper arrangement in a factory and there should be marked at that particular tap. That is, water is used for safe for drinking purpose. And this particular the particular instrument where the water is being stored, it should be periodically cleaned, and the numbering, the date and which the this particular tank is being cleaned, it should be also mentioned and should be audited by the factory inspector when the tank is being cleaned. Section 19 deals with latrines and urinals. In every factory there should be a separate latrine and urinals for the male as well as female workers. If the female workers and the male workers are less, there should be a common latrine and urinals, but proper prevention has to be taken from the chief inspector of the factories before making a single urinals and washrooms. This section states that every factory should make an arrangement for latrines and urinals for the employees and the rules laid down by the state government in this behalf. All the latrines and urinals should be cleaned by the persons who are being asked to do it, and the record has to be maintained by that particular department. So there should not be infection to the workers, otherwise the health of the worker would be affected. Section 20 deals with the spittoons. In every factory there should be spittoons. Spittoons and the washroom should be kept separately, as well as the drinking water should be also kept separately. Otherwise the infection from the spittoon would be affecting to the place where there is a water tap. So there should be sufficient number of spittoons in the factories for the employees, and they should be kept in clean and hygienic condition according to the law which is there in force. So the spittoon should be kept properly, and there should be a particular instrument where the spittoons, the factory workers are being asked to spit on that, and it should be cleaned properly. So the infection won't be passed out to the fellow workers. Students, we had covered about the section 10 related to the health of the workers, which is covered under the Factories Act 1948 under the module 2 of the syllabus of FYBMS under the subject called Factories Act 1948. Thank you from my side.